How many people in this room are songwriters? So you'd like, okay. So I'm going to address this on a songwriting level for a moment. But before I do, I want to tell you the most important piece of information that applies not only to your musical career, but your entire life. And I've seen it work and I've seen it not work. And it's 100% true. Number one thing you have to do before you set out on any other goal or any other course is to define your expectations. Number one thing, on the outset of every single project, record, tour, define your expectations. Everyone in this room wants to make it. But I question how you would recognize making it. What is making it? Well, what do you want to be? Who in here wants a record deal? Would it be nice to have a record deal, right? We want a record deal. Okay, well, what does a record deal look like? What does making it look like? Do you want to sell 1 million copies, 2 million copies? Well, okay, let's say selling 2 million copies is like selling 10 million copies 10 years ago. So let's say you say to yourself, my expectation is that I want to be an artist and I want to put records out and I want to sell millions of copies. If that's your expectation, great. Then you sort of skip straight to another questionnaire. You know, okay, if you answered yes to, do I want to be a pop star? Do I want to make music for as many people as possible? Now you have to sort of change your game to fit the expectation. You now have to wonder about, is your song shorter than 4 minutes? Do you get to your chorus fast enough? These are things you have to absolutely do. And you also have to compromise, and you also have to play the game. Who in here thinks that the public is mostly dumb? You think the public is mostly dumb? Let me tell you something. The public is about 300 million times smarter than you. The public is not dumb. For those of you who said, yes, I want to be a pop star, and yes, I would like to have a record deal, and yes, I'd like to make this happen, the first thing you should know is that the public is always smarter than you. If you put a song out and you go, that's it, watch it go, light fuse, stand back, everybody stand back, it's going to be a hit, it's going to be a hit, it's going to be a hit, and it goes like this. Who is smarter than who? Your big smart pop song went nowhere. The public just told you, they're smarter than you on that one. Because you said you had it and they said, I don't think so. And you didn't have it. So they're smarter than you. And that's what you have to deal with. They're smarter. And by defining your expectations, if you decide that you want to be a pop star, that's not a dirty word. It just means, pop just means popular. Frank Sinatra was a pop star. Jimi Hendrix was a pop star. Lots of people were pop stars. What kind of pop star? Lots of people are jazz musicians. What kind of jazz musician? You can define the genre any way you want. So if you said you want to be a pop star, then you have to look at your songs. There's also people here who are a little dishonest about what they really want to be. And I think if you want to be famous, if you want to make music for as many people as possible, just come out and say it. Don't say, I want to be indie. I'm just going to be an independent artist. And really secretly wish that you wanted to be a pop star. Because from the very beginning, it's disingenuous. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to play music for as many people as possible without compromising the things that I have to be as an artist. And that's what I've done. Sony Music doesn't come into the studio when I'm making a record, but I also know what's going to be a hit, or what stands the chance of being a hit, and what just doesn't. And it's a level of honesty with yourself that you have to have before you hand your music out to anybody else. So that's sort of what I want to say about expectations. If you only recognize success as a record deal and a big fat Publishers Clearinghouse oversized Tiger Woods check and a dinner and then going to the top of the roof and screaming, I made it! Most of you will be stunning failures. I'll tell you right now, most of you, I didn't do it that way. But if you define success by putting out your first record and selling 5,000 copies and going to have sushi when you say, yeah, I got 5,000 copies. When I sell 5,000 copies, I'm going to consider this a success. That's the difference between people who walk this earth happy and people who walk the earth constantly unfulfilled, because they've never defined the finish line. I know artists who sold 2 million records. It's not enough, because they never said what making it was going to be. They just had this feeling like it was their life, they were just gonna know. It's not gonna work like that. It's just not gonna work like that. Well, I consider that my best record is Continuum. I think it's my best, sort of most solid piece of work. And thank you. And it is because I had gotten to a point in my career where I felt like I was about to get pigeonholed. And I'll tell you the story, and I don't know how many people know this intimately, but they want to make, here's where the public is smarter than you. I wanted a song called Come Back to Bed. I thought it was going to be huge. I thought it could change people's minds about stuff. No, I'm going to make you like stuff you don't like because it's good enough. Hey, I don't know about that. And the song didn't work, and I was disheartened. And then they said, what about Daughters? Can you put Daughters out? Now, I had thought, again, public's smarter than me, I thought that that's just this little song that lives on the record. That's like track 8, it's track 9, that's the one you discover 3 months in, like, oh, this is here. And they said, no, they've researched it, they really want this to go, I think it can be a hit. And I was like, I don't want it to be a hit. I would rather not have a hit with this song, because this song is going to peg me forever as sensitive songwriter God. And I gave myself sort of a 3 strikes and you're out rule, and I thought Daughters would have been somewhat of the 3rd strike. And the worst thing I could have ever thought of was being the artist where they go, the record company says, look, you give us the 3 we want, and you know we want, and you can do whatever you want to do. I'm sure there's some songs on Nickelback records that Nickelback loves. Somewhere in the back there, 9, 10, 11. I'm sure, you got to imagine there's ones on the set list when they get up to it, they're like, I can't wait to play this one. Thank God I was able to write those other 3 that I know they needed and I don't mind making, but okay, you know. So I say, please, I get on the phone with Don Einer, at the time was, I think, sort of just the head of all music. And I said, Donnie, I can't do it. Donnie, you realize if I do this, I'm gonna be sensitive singer-songwriter guy for the rest of my life, and I'm too young. I'm too young to be anything but a guy who can put out whatever he wants. And I said, fine, you know, I get it. We won't put it out. If you don't want it, we won't put it out. And it made it out. I don't know how. It leaked. But how upset can I be because it won Song of the Year that year for Daughters, but something else was at stake, which was my identity. So it came out and it was a hit, and it was another sort of feeling like, wow, you don't know who I am now. Now you think I'm even more that. Because when you put a song on a record, it can be anything. When you put it on the radio, you're saying something about it. You're saying, this is my racehorse. This is what I want you to think of me as. And it came out and it was a hit, and it was a funny moment because while it's a hit and it's going #1, I'm still going, who did this? So after that, I said, look, I need to erase. I need to stop. I need to find a different pursuit musically so I can shake it all up. And when I tell you about defining your expectations, I defined my expectation very well on this. I said, I started a trio, John Mayer Trio, with Steve Jordan and Pino Palladino. I'm more famous to me than anyone I've ever met in my life. Those guys, when I'm sitting at a table with them, I look around and I go, does anybody realize who's sitting at this table together? And I went on a tour, and I played in the blues trio. And I did my best. I don't think it was the greatest in the world, but I did my best, and I went into a project. And I didn't think it was going to sell millions of copies, and it didn't. And a lot of the tension that came out that year between myself and the record company is that they couldn't understand that I didn't want to make a record. It didn't think I made a record that was made for 4 million people. That it's okay, it's a sliding scale, your expectations. Let's just do this because it feels right. And it felt very right. And it's because of that tour, and because of that exploration, that I was able to come back in the studio and learn fully how to take the guitar playing side and the writing side and put it together the best I've done it so far. And this is the song sort of that, I'm gonna play it like they're here behind me. So think of it like they're here, but they're on mute.
different name. Got a brand new blues and I can't explain. Who did you think I was? Every moment when the day begins, I'm making my mind and change it back again. I'm a shifter of the shape I'm in. Who did you think I was? You got my number, but I always knew the score. Who did you think I was? And now the world plays a quiet song. Is it the world who turns the ladies on? Will I keep shining till my light is gone? Who did you think I was? No, 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 you got my number, but I always knew the score. Who did you think I was? Here is a line that you won't understand. I'm half of a boy, but I'm twice the man. Carry the weight of the world in the palm of my hand. Who did you think I was? Yeah. Who did you think I was? No, 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 no. No, no,